Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got two replays to show you in the Tier 10 British Premium Heavy Tank, the FV225. And if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm running in the tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as we speak. But as you can see for the first replay, we are here on Himmelsdorf, where there's one enemy light tank and two enemy fun police. So initially we've pushed to quite aggressive spot in the middle, just to see if we can get any early damage on the tanks, like that when they kind of wait on the 6th line to get shots in, and was able to pick up a juicy double tap there into the enemy FV225, and then we're able to put another one into his lower plate as he exposes himself. So we're in a good position to get damage on these tanks. One thing we've got to bear in mind is if we do lose the hill, I could potentially get shot from the hill, so that's something I'm going to have to bear in mind. But by the looks of it, we do have a fair amount of tanks going that way, and it looks like there's quite a few tanks spotted on the G7 line already. So there's a chance that the enemy team don't have that much there, but we won't know for sure. We managed to finish off that FV225 there, picking up our first kill of the game, putting us into 2,500 damage. We have had a few shots, but we've come out okay at the start. We've got some decent trade-off at the beginning of this game. But we're kind of trapped here somewhat because the enemy tanks at sort of the D6 line. If we try and cross out, they're going to have potential shots at us. And you've also got this enemy light tank here as well. So it's making our life a little bit awkward to escape, but at the moment it looks like we've got some good presence on the hill, so we're unlikely to get shot up from the hill at the moment, just because they'll probably be distracted by the tanks which have pushed around now at sort of the F8 area. So I'm just going to see what damage we can be had from this position. I'm kind of, enemy tanks do keep presenting damage for us, which is nice, and we put ourselves onto 3,000, well, just shy of 3,000 damage already. But I'm also conscious, keeping an eye on the banana on the 8 line, just in case they win there and we're caught in a weird angle. And to be honest, I think in this game, I probably do make a little bit of mistake, as I get the early damage in this position, but then I kind of stay here for too long, really. To be honest, and it kind of maybe cost me a little bit of damage, but yeah, it just made myself, I could have moved a bit earlier, I think. But I was just kind of waiting, I got sort of lured into that trap where the position is just sort of working for you, and then you overextend your welcome in this position. But I was kind of considering at the moment, as you can see, we have won the hill. We've now pushed down the 8 line, of pushing myself into the courtyard. But I sort of hesitate as I get spotted going in. And I thought, it could be risky, because if you look at the sort of 1-2 line on the train tracks, we don't really have much presence there. There could be tanks still hiding out in the train tracks because you get shots into us, albeit there's not going to be a lot of them because most of the tanks are already spotted. And I'm just waiting to see if this enemy light tank pokes. It kind of pokes just as I sort of look away, which is awkward. Otherwise we could have got a shot in, because it would have been nice to land a double shot and sort of take half his hit points away, and then it'll make his life a little bit awkward when he's poking again. We do pick up a tiny bit of assistance somehow, put us onto about sort of 600 assistance now. And this is the sort of thing where at the stage of the game where I'm thinking I wish I'd just started moving here, maybe try and back up, reverse out, and just try and get out of this situation. Because our tanks who have pushed down these sort of off of the hill, down the sort of C8 line now, it's started to, have died. And this is the point where I'm going, right, let's just get out of here now. We wanted to try and do something in this game, because we're starting to lose the game. We're a couple tanks down. I get detected as I leave, but I managed to sort of get into a position of safety, while I can just try and lose my spot. And then once this spot has been lost, I'm going to try it. And essentially, I don't think there's much down the 1-2 line, other than at least probably one of the enemy fun police, one of the artilleries. So I'm going to start to head that way to try and clear that side out. I do get spotted as I leave though, and eat one shot, but then we spot a full health enemy E4. Now I suspect he's looking at my other tanks which are spotted on the right, so I've got an opportunity to squeeze in a shot while he's not really paying attention to me. And we do land a double pen there, putting us on to over 3,000 damage now, and we do damage the E4's ammo rack as well. So maybe I'll get another opportunity to get a shot into him. He's actually moved into a position where he's safe from me, trying to stay safe from their heavy tanks and sort of G3 area. But I've also spotted that enemy G-Saw light tank on my left has been detected, so I need to keep an eye on that tank. It's kind of awkward for me to push the E4 just because I don't know if there's a TD still sitting down the 3 line which could shoot me if I overextend. But the light tank makes a mistake and we're able to finish this tank off. And we do finally pick up our second kill of the game, putting us onto about 3,700 damage. But there's still quite a lot of hit points left, but at this stage I kind of want to get a bit more damage out of this game. Now the E4 here, I'm going to move in to try and take him out. I've opted, I could swap to the single shot, firing one gun at a time, because he is a one shot to us. But because E4 can be a bit troll, it's cupola, I opt to fire both shells at the same time, just because basically each round works individually for RMG. So basically if I fire both at the same time, although I only needed one, if I wanted to get, increase my chances of penning him, one shot might have high rolled and one shot might have bounced. So was able to kill him that way. And E4 gets taken out, putting us into a 7 versus 5. The enemy team have re-pushed a hill with an enemy Soviet heavy tank with the double barrel gun, and he is sort of camping on the hill, so got to be kind of conscious of that. I tried the sniper's cupola, it was never penning at this range, but you thought why not, I'll just chance it. And I'm going to try and make my way across to kill this isolated front police in the A1 position. And then I can try and ultimately, if I can cross sort of the B3, I can start coming behind those other tanks and then work my way towards the hill where it looks like that tank was fairly healthy. We do eat one here from this enemy American heavy tank that pushes round, and we do manage to finish him off at least, picking up our 4 kills. Now I want to cross here. The problem is it is going to be a risk because I might get snapshotted by the tank on the hill. I'm just going to take the gamble to try and cross quickly. We actually managed to snap him, pen both shots, and get lucky that he only tracks us. So we get away with one there, and that's good because now we're in a much better position to get the damage from here because we're not going to get shot by the tank on the hill. We can kill this enemy artillery who looks like he's just fired, so he's an easy kill for us here. We pick up our 5th kill of the game, putting us on to 5,000 damage with just shy of 1,000 assistance. And only 2 tanks remaining, but with 8% hit points left. Both tanks are still fairly healthy, so there is still a chunk of damage to be had. And looking at the mini-map, we kind of think we're probably going to be the first there. So we've got a real good opportunity of getting some more damage out of this game. They are going to know I'm coming because I've just gone through the cap circle. But at this stage, I just want to get there as quick as we can. I suspect the front police is looking at me when I cross. So I'm going to turn my turret and just kind of look to the right as we cross. He is there waiting. We take a gamble crossing, but we get across and we get the double shot in. Puts us to just shy of 6,000 damage. And at this point, even if I die to this heavy, I just want to pen him at least once with both shots and just try and get the damage in this tank as quickly as I can because we're going to win now. It's 5 versus 1. This tank doesn't have enough hit points. It's just about how much more damage can we get, and if we get the 6th kill, we can pick up the top gun, so it would be quite nice. So I'm going to try and make my way. Thankfully, he's using a single shot, so we're able to get our finishing kill in there, put us on to just shy of 7,000 damage with 6 kills, 1,000 blocked, 800 assistance, and of course, we got one more final replay to come. We do actually pick up the ace tanker in this replay, but you saved the best for last. Let's move on to replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2 on Pilsen Encounter Battle. Now Pilsen generally is a good map for a heavy tank, but the encounter variant is always a little bit awkward because one side essentially gets a massive ridge that they can camp on where they can go hold down, and it can be a little bit awkward at times. But initially we're going to try and push across, just to a position to see if anything gets detected on the sort of C8 position. We can maybe get some shots in and try and say hold down. But you can see our friendly medium tank tried to take the courtyard aggressively and it's just got slapped by the FV225. So we do know that tank is on reload and we're kind of waiting just in case he peeks that same position again, and maybe we can get some shots in. But we get out spotted. We gamble firing there just in case it was that FV225 that spotted us. But I feel like I don't really like that engagement anymore. That FV225 can potentially go through our gun mantlet with the AP rounds, and it's a little bit awkward and I just don't fancy it. So I'm going to change approaches, approach here and go across to the other side, mainly because a few of the tanks have already been spotted playing a little bit more aggressively on the enemy team, and it might be easier for me to try and get some damage in. So I'm pushing across here, and as you can see, it looks like I think a Centurion's actually pushed into the middle of the courtyard, so we might be able to get some damage on him a little bit later, but I can't really do that at this initial stage because I've got to be careful of this ridge here in front of me. But it looks like this enemy Centurion on my right has really overextended, and we get off to a good start there, penning with both shots, picking up 700 damage, and that Centurion gets left on a one shot here. So again, we notice on the right there's 3 tanks here. It looks like a Polish heavy tank is potentially going to overextend, and we can maybe get some shots in. So we've kind of been conscious of that, but also as you can see what just happened to our friendly CS, it just got slapped by the artillery, so have to be conscious of that as well. But we do put a shot into the Polish heavy tank. The enemy fun police then starts to look at us, and we decide, you know what, I don't fancy that, I'm going to move. But then the AMX CDC comes in the open. I don't really know what he was doing, but I'm grateful for picking up that extra bit of damage on his suicide run there, putting us onto 2,400 damage. But we're starting to lose the game, being 3 tanks down. And here's that, enemy Polish heavy tank. We may actually present a shot because we can easily pen the cupola on that tank, and we do. We pen both shots. That puts us on to what, just shy of 3,000 now. And yeah, he's left on a one shot, which is nice as well. But looking on the scoreboard, it has swung in the enemy favour. It is now 13 versus 9. But tanks are at least pushing up to be more aggressive, which is good because then we can battle them where we want to. Now, I'm conscious not to overextend around this building at the moment, just because I'm a bit concerned about that enemy fun police. And then as we start to make a move, we see this enemy FV225B. He pokes up, we slap a shot in, we actually get some track assistance as well, and we manage to get our team take out another tank, and that enemy Polish heavy tank also gets shut down by our friendly artillery, with a Carnarvon there left on the right to just be aware of that tank. We have brought it back to a two tank deficit there. Then a 50B comes out of nowhere, shoots me once, but then bounces, and I'm back into safe, and he kind of loses that trade because we're able to double pen him there. Obviously the 50B is generally a fairly easy target to pen on its turret. So we're just going to kind of wait because this game is close. It's 8 versus 8. We'll put ourselves onto about 4,000 damage. We do still have pretty much all of our hit points, so we're in a good position. And we don't really need to overextend ourselves at the moment. Just kind of waiting for that opportunity to get some more damage in. We know there is a full health Carnarvon on the sort of B5 area. But also when we come up to try and get shots in, if there is still TDs camping on the ridge, they could potentially shoot us. Also, we wouldn't be safe from the enemy artillery. But the 50B comes around now, and we put him onto a one shot. Yet again, penning him again. He's probably going to die there, the 50B. He's kind of pushed himself in an awkward situation. He does get finished off by our friendly SU-130, which is good news. And now we've got an opportunity to shoot the cupola here of that enemy Carnarvon. And we managed to pen one of the 2 shots, putting us onto about 5,300 damage. But with that 50B, who's now been taken out, I'm going to start to think about trying to push in and kill this Carnarvon. Because if I can get rid of that tank, then I can work on actually killing the tanks, as you can see here in the middle. Because that FV225 actually looks like a one-shot. So I've actually turned my attention to that FV225. And as you can see, it's caught out in the courtyard, and we're able to get a lovely shot in. There was also a Centurion T97/1 in that courtyard. He actually presents himself. We turn to try and angle, and he's obviously got the Hesh loaded because that tank does have Hesh as the premium round. And yeah, we absorb that in our space armour, and he doesn't really do any damage. He then gets shut down by our friendly TD. This enemy Carnarvon's overextended. We put a shot in, we only pen one of our 2 there. Probably could have aimed that a little bit better to get the full pen, but he does get tracked in place at least, and we're going to be able to take him out now. This game, once we've dealt with this tank, there's going to be, 2 enemy fun police and 1 enemy TD. The TD is going to be sitting on the ridge line, probably at sort of the H, 8-9 area. It's going to be around about there. And the enemy fun police, you can look, our light tank's already scouted out the A8-9 area. He must be sitting in the sort of K8-9, and the shot just fires, and we've just confirmed where the artillery is sitting. So we're going to make our advance. You know, we may eat one off of the enemy TD as we come in, but it looks like the enemy TD is distracted, which is good. We actually pen on the move, putting us on to over 6,000 damage. Unfortunately, we get slapped by one of those artilleries, taking away a lot of our hit points, but we had to repair ready to go. But with only 2 tanks in the game, we've just got to move in to try and get the damage here. We kill one of the enemy artilleries. This one may actually land a shot, could kill us if he's firing AP. But yeah, we just want to get in there to get the damage really. He does track us in place, which is kind of annoying because we're losing an opportunity to get our shots in. I want to land a double shot before he gets taken out here, but we should have the opportunity to do so. We do in fact connect, putting us on to just shy of 8,000 damage, 3 kills, and yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get the final kill in. He does shoot us again for good measure, but it does come to an end of the video and we have a decent game. You got 8,000 damage, about 3 kills, and yeah, I'm not too sure how much assistance we got. I think it was about 1,000 odd assistance, 1,500 assistance, and we do in fact confirm the ace tanker and the high caliber medal. So that is it for the video. If you do like the content, please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. But as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!